What's up, AfterBuzzers? We're back here for Botched Season 4, Episode 22. We're going to be talking about Martina's extreme tan. We're going to talk about Luke's sunken chest, and so much more, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Look at me now. Oh.
Hey, guys. We're just swaying in studio.
Look at me now.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Juliet Vibert. Welcome back to the show. This is our finale, which we're all sad about, but we're really excited to discuss more about it. How are you doing, Abigail?
I'm just great.
Good.
Good topics of discussion for tonight.
And we have a new addition to this show. We have McKenzie, who's here.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We're missing Nicole, and we're sending her lots of love. And yeah, you guys just give me overall thoughts about this episode. Before I want to hear about Mackenzie's opinion. What's your relationship to this show prior to doing this panel with us?
I watch it often. It's always on, I feel like. It's one of those shows that you click on the TV and you're like, oh, Botched is on again. And I love it. A lot of the times I'll sit down and watch TV when I'm eating,
Same.
and I cannot watch this one when I'm eating, so I have to
Jersey Mike's is what I was eating today while I was watching it. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Always eating it. Yep. I feel like I say that every week. I'm like,
for
I was
sure.
eating again.
And you never learn.
I know. Today I was like, damn it. Like, come on, get it together.
Yeah, this episode was something. It was definitely graphic as always, but we're going to be breaking that all down and so much more. Again, as I talked about at the top, we have Martina I've honestly never seen anyone that was that tan. Luke had an interesting chest. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that either. And Nesreen, who has a nose that's just like completely tilted. So lots to discuss with these patients. Let's start off with Nesreen. What were your thoughts about her? She said that her nose looked like the state of California. Do you think that was a good analogy?
What do you think?
Yeah.
I know, right?
I'm not even going to argue with it.
Yeah.
You can't. And she described every state as it went down to, and she's like, and then you get to Mexico. And you're like, yeah, you did. We did get there after looking at that nose.
Yeah.
I felt bad, though. I kind of have a personal, experience, too. I had 2 nose surgeries. I broke my nose in, 13 different places and had 2 different surgeries. So I felt the pain all the way down that one. So.
Did it make you cringe when she was talking about it? Does that happen with you now?
Oh yeah, when she was in the when they were even just touching it and looking at it initially before they even did anything, he's touching right here. And even just touching right here to me is like, oh my God, stop touching it.
How long ago was yours?
My last one was last February.
Okay.
So a little over a year ago was my last one.
It still takes a while to heal after, and the swelling lasts almost a year, they say.
Oh
too,
yeah.
right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, I can't imagine the pain these people go through because my second surgery, you get these 2 tampon things stuck up in your nose.
Yeah.
And you have to keep them in for a couple of days after surgery. And they have to yank them out. And all the dried blood and all the cartilage is still there. And I'm like, this girl, because what did they say? She had a major reconstruction. She had barely any cartilage, so I cannot imagine what she went through.
Yeah, and it's something that she had to deal with her whole life. She also had a lot of issues breathing, and that's what was causing anxiety attacks, which I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. I can't believe that's a thing, but we forget how breathing is so essential.
And natural for us. We didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
And it made me think of a while back, we talked about a patient who was risking his breathing in order to have a nicer nose. And it just moments like this, I'm like, but you're lucky. Why are you changing things? This poor girl cannot even breathe because of this. Right. Just so sad. And have you guys ever experienced any issues with breathing in that sense? Because this was foreign to me. No?
No.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
yeah, you do?
Yeah, I mean, even if I stuck my finger up each nose, I could feel it's tighter on this side. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm going to always have a deviated septum for the rest of my life, whether I get it straightened out. So I totally get it. And, we'll talk more about her after, and she's nervous, what she's nervous about, but I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I really felt for her. One thing I thought was surprising, so she meets with the doctors, and they're telling her that, her odds are pretty good. They're saying that there's an 80% chance it'll look better. As we know from this show, 80% is a big percentage. Mm-hmm. Yet it wasn't, she seemed a little bit disappointed. Were you shocked by that, by her reaction?
I wasn't really shocked by her reaction, but when you break it down into terms of numbers, I think that that's not done enough with what to expect for patients, whether it's surgery or whether it's something as simple as like an injection, because everyone has this image in their brain of like what they want it to look like after. And 9 times out of 10, that's not realistic because they're not taking into consideration like what they're having done versus, you know, it's a nose job. It's going to change the way you look, but it's not, you can't really plan out how exactly it's going to look until it's done. And I think that a lot of times people have these expectations that are just crazy. Same thing even with hair. Like you go to get your hair done and you're like, I want to be blonde. Well, honey, your hair is dark brown, so it's going to take a few times to get to this blonde tone. And people just aren't in the reality of what really is the end result. So I think it's really smart to say, hey, 80%, like it's going to get better, but it might not be to what you're expecting in your unreasonable expectations. So I really liked it. Yeah. I thought it was a good point that Paul did that.
Yeah. I think it's hard nowadays, especially like with nose jobs. Nobody really talks about that. I feel like, and that's a really tough thing. And the only, like, not everybody's going to have a Blake Lively experience where she goes in with this nose and then she comes out looking like I felt like a totally different person kind of, because that nose makes her. I mean, let's be real. Yeah. And that's such a high expectation. And for something being in the middle of your face.
Right.
I don't know. I kind of felt bad. Like, I felt like, how could she say, okay, yes, I'm completely comfortable with 80%? That's in the middle of your face. I would be like, yes, I want it done, but there's no way to get like 98%.
Right. Like, and I get what you're saying too, but I feel like you're a little more grounded in reality of your nose is getting done. Like people use other celebrities predominantly as an example of what they want. Oh, I want her lips. Yes. I want her brows. I want her nose. Okay, you can have her nose, but you're not going to look like her. Like, it's just, and people don't understand that. I think they like the whole image and they like her nose and where it lays on her face and where her ears lay and her eye color. And like, those aren't things you're having done. Those aren't things that are changing. Like, it's just your nose. And I feel like a lot of times people don't understand that. The whole concept of it, I guess.
No, again, and it is, as you were saying, such a focal point. That's one of the first things people look at it, if they realize it or not, is someone's nose. And it was funny because even her friend was saying, like, hey, listen, you're telling me that this is 80%. She was really happy. Right. But, yeah, so there's still that reluctance. But, I mean, they went in, and that was another thing that was really hard to watch, that whole nose section.
I muted.
Yeah, you muted? Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh. It was just so crazy. And did you hear at one point when one of the doctors said they like hammered it and did all this stuff, and one of the doctors goes, oh my God, that looks so cute. I was like,
I see. I literally muted the whole part of that because I just couldn't handle any more noises.
Yeah, the girl. Oh, you
that
said
looks
you
so
muted
cute.
It. Duh. Yeah, no, she goes, oh, that looks so cute. I'm like looking at it all bloody, and I'm like, how do you see that? But you're a doctor, so
right?
Yeah, you understand.
They're able to see past certain things because they know the final product, and so it's kind of like a behind the scenes view of everything, which I always
look good.
Yeah, but I still don't know how they get used to it because I'm obviously definitely not a doctor, but I've been covering the show for some bit, and we're still cringing.
Gross. You know what weirds me out too? Still is when they tape everyone's eyes down.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
It creeps me out. It's just like, what if you wake up? They don't know you're waking up.
Yeah.
Like, you can't move because you're probably still like, I don't know. I watched, what was that? There was like a thriller movie where someone like came out of their
right, with Jessica.
Mid like surgery, and it's like if your eyes are taped closed and you can't really move your body because you're still like under the influence of the anesthesia, so it's like you're really like awake, and it just creeped me out.
Yeah, that's so true.
Well, I was literally looking. I'm like, where's the anesthesiologist? Like when we were watching it, it's like, okay. He's good.
My God. Well, luckily we didn't have any of that, so rest assured,
right?
She was fine, and she woke up, and I mean, I was surprised myself at how good this nose looked. It was a drastic change when they do that camera movement. I would give it bigger than an 80%. What percentage would you give it a successful rate?
I think he called it like a 97 or something.
Yeah. 96, for 97. Sure.
Yeah, like it looked great. And I mean, what even is percent? Like, what is that even Is that even able to be judged by a percentage? Like, it looked bomb. I don't know what you want to call it, but it looked great. Yeah,
it looked amazing, and it was so cool that she said it looks like me.
Right.
And I was like, that is such a cool thing that you understood that after going through the surgery. And at first, the doctor said she had such an expectation to be perfect, and they were concerned about that.
Right.
And she's just like, it looks just like me and perfect for me. I was just happy that she.
I know that is such a key point, because you need to have that relation. You need to be able to love your nose, because if it wasn't for her, she would have focused on the 3% that wasn't really perfect.
Right.
But that 3% is actually so important, because that makes her nose. That makes her her nose.
Right.
It makes for everything. And one thing they also discussed with her is the fact that she has all these fans, and they've been requesting her to do these makeup videos, and she just felt that she couldn't. So hopefully this will give her a new life. And yeah, I felt this ended up on a good note. She made me happy.
I liked it. It ended well.
The one that I didn't really end so well, and didn't even start really well, to be honest with you, is Martina.
Martina Big.
Yes, she was something. So Abigail, tell me your thoughts about this Martina.
I think we could probably have like a 4-hour discussion on this situation.
Yes.
And it could go all different directions. So I'm going to keep it concise. I think that she is
Unique.
no, because that's a positive thing. It's
true.
just a positive spin on the word. I think that she's ungrounded in reality, and I think that she doesn't take into consideration like lifestyles, and she doesn't take into consideration just the whole idea of what she's doing. I think that it's like almost cute to her, or it's almost sexy to her, because everything was kind of sexualized. Turning yourself and you're not like, like the doctor said, like your DNA is still the same. You're not an African American woman, but the fact that you think that you can just get a shot, make your nose a different ethnicity, like that you become that, is really concerning to me. It's
Right.
really concerning to me. I'm gonna go to Africa to learn their culture. Honey, pick up a book first, like, and you're not African American. Like, you're not African.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I do have to say about that is, like, we have a transgender person in this as well, and like he fully wanted to be male,
Right.
and like that's and he's great, like living it, like owning it. It's so awesome. So do you think we could maybe like play like the same kind of devil's advocate
think
thing
you
for her? Like, she
could.
thinks maybe that wasn't the case. She
No.
didn't think she was African
And it's
American,
not
so
like,
never mind.
and honestly, like culturally, I think that you can appreciate cultures, and I think that you can, maybe you identify better with a different culture or something like that, but that doesn't make you that ethnicity.
But she didn't even that. Yeah, you're right.
But she wasn't even coming
She
from
wasn't,
that. That would
yeah.
even be
She was
grounds
referring
for,
to this as an African style. And
Style.
She said, my
Like, it's a
African style,
fashion.
my African style. Exactly. And I think that was the most disturbing thing
Yeah.
of all, is that it's
Yeah.
not something that you can just pick up like a trend or like a handbag and then decide to switch over when you're done. She, in the last season, we actually talked about her on the after show. She was just trying to be a blow up doll, right?
Yeah.
Blonde hair, huge implants. She wanted even bigger butt implants. And that was the style she was aspiring to. And she kept on saying it. It was Barbie. And then this season, we're saying African style. I frankly was surprised that the show kind of carried this on and like allowed her to have this big of a spotlight.
Well, wait, we have to back up a little bit, because I feel like she got the injections not knowing she was gonna become this dark. I think, didn't she want them to be a little tan, and she was like,
Yeah,
I just kept getting tanner and tanner, and now I'm kind of just owning it because it got this far.
I think that they started them together just as a trial, but then when she saw how dark she was, like, she even said she wanted to get more.
Oh, I feel like I missed that.
Yeah, she said she wanted to get
okay.
more treatments. It's just a little, just like, you went and got a wig. You went and got, and I'm like, I have extensions. Like, I wear wigs. Like, but it's doing it for yourself and because you enjoy the hairstyle is completely different than trying to pass as another culture, especially one grounded in, she seems like a very dim-witted human being, and to just be like, I want to be a black woman. Like, do you even know what that entails? Do you know how much suffering that, there's just a lot there culturally that really upset me about what she was doing.
Yeah, I think again, she's
honest.
just kind of trying to pick it up like as a trend and
Right.
as a style, as she was
Right.
referring to it. And you know what? Let's also talk about her. I think he's her fiance. We saw him actually again last season, and he picked up this trend too, where or procedure. Let's just call it the procedure, the injection as well, and he got it himself. And I could tell before they started talking about it, I'm like, oh, he got darker. He's trying to get on her bandwagon, but it's not working as well. I mean,
Because
well,
he's like 400 pounds. I'm sure that it has something to do with that. 100%.
Yeah, but she's practically 400 pounds with those boobs.
But like actual, I mean, that's added. That's not actual skin and fat. And, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see.
I guess I feel like I don't know how the injection works, but his surface area is a lot greater for only having 3 injections, as well as there's more like fat tissue.
Yes,
there's more.
that's true.
I don't know. Maybe that's why he didn't get as dark, but
But he had like blue eyes before, blonde hair. Now he's like dark.
yeah.
Yeah,
But-
they no matter what are supporting each other. Is that a good or a bad thing in this case? You guys think?
I don't even know.
I'm glad they're happy.
Yep.
I think
I
somebody.
think
Why
they
is there
definitely
no?
should not procreate. I don't think that they're at a mindset where they could take care of children.
I was gonna say. I feel like there's something else going on here, and I don't know why there's no friends, family that can
Right.
step in and be like, hey, you guys need to calm down, like, because their health is not in mind here.
Yeah, no, this is all about the extreme looks, and it needs to stop. And I'm very happy, although not surprised, that the doctors did not want to move forward with this.
I don't think they want to even be associated necessarily with.
That's actually was going to be my second point. Did you notice, like, as soon as she walked in, did you notice that Dr. Nassif, like, looked to camera, it looked like he looked to someone, he looked over his shoulder, kind of like, you gotta be kidding me.
Right.
I felt setup.
Yeah, he kind of was just like, you know what, production, like, I get it. I get how the show's structured. Like, we need to be helping certain people, and then there's always that kooky patient that comes along, but are you serious? I might be projecting, but I swear you guys go back and watch it. He just looks over and he's like, really?
Right.
And that was kind of my reaction too.
And I think it degrades their practice if their practice is being associated with people who are just doing it for show.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's not a good look. So no surprise that they didn't want to operate on her. But yeah, she was something for sure. And actually, I watched the on E Online. They have like little clips and stuff. And with her, they're not really they didn't put her in the recap. I'm wondering if they're kind of going back on the decision, because I know this creates a lot of backlash, because we had cultural appropriation, something people really talk about lately, and which is our important conversations. And I don't know, I'm surprised by the decision, because I just don't know if it was the best thing for the show or for the network. But what was the best thing for Luke was to get his chest done.
Nice transition. I love it. Okay, sorry.
Luke had a sunken chest, and he actually, as you mentioned earlier in the show, was born female and then transitioned to male, and he got rid of his breast. He was about an A cup, like a large A, and was never satisfied with the result, because he actually had to have 4 surgeries, and it just never really worked out. One looked like a man boob, one was kind of, I guess it looked like an, this is terrible, but it looked like an Audi in any like belly button.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
it did.
yes. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
What were your overall thoughts about this character and his intro before he met the doctors, and you were just telling his life story?
I've really liked him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sweet soul.
I did too, and I have something to say about his mom after, but I really liked him, and I just thought he really needed this, and I was like rooting for him like from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then, finding out his boyfriend is the exact same transgender, like female to male. It was like, you guys are the cutest things ever.
Yeah, they were really sweet. I was really happy that they
Loved it.
they were that support system for each other. But I feel like as they mentioned, there's a little jealousy there too.
Yes.
There was a lot. But before we dig in too deep into that, I want to tell our audience about this really, really cool Quip toothbrush system. So the truth is that most of us are brushing our teeth wrong. Yes, I said wrong. Not for enough, but we forget to change our brush on time. So there's actually a set time when you're supposed to be changing your toothbrush, and most of us are not doing that. That's because most brands, they focus on selling flashy, with flashy gimmicks. They just try to sell you certain things. But Quip is completely different, and they do not try to do this. You know what makes it different is that, for starters, Quip is an electric toothbrush that is at a fraction of the cost of bulkier brushes, which, as we all know, I love a bargain. So I'm all about saving some money while keeping my hygiene up. So they still pack out the right amount of vibration to help clean your teeth. It's a subscription-based company, and you just pay every month. They deliver directly to your door, and it's dentist scheduled recommended. So there's an actual dentist who's telling you, like, okay, this is when you should be changing your toothbrush, and it's just for $5, and that's including shipping worldwide. So really cool. If you live overseas, just don't worry about it. Just $5. Quip also comes with a mount that has a suction, or that you can suction right on the mirror, and you can also take that off and put it on top of the toothbrush. So if you're traveling, you can just like have it be all sanitary and not just like gross in your makeup bag or whatnot. And finally, Quip is also on Oprah's O list, and as you know, like Oprah has all her favorite things, and this is one of them. So if Oprah said it, I'm kind of in. I think Oprah's a cool chick, and she likes cool stuff. So I think a Quip is the one for me. And finally, again, so like in terms of price. Quip starts at just $25. You just go to quip.com/buzz right now, and you'll get your first pack free with an electric toothbrush kit. And your first refills will be free too. You just go to quip.com/buzz. That's spelled getquip.com/buzz. Thanks, guys. All right. Now that we've talked about that, let's go back to Luke. And you were saying that you wanted to talk about his mother. So tell me your opinions on his mother.
There was just one little thing at the end when he gets out of the water or whatever, and he goes up to the picnic table, and everybody's just cheering for him and really supportive. And then he says this little speech. He's like, Mom, like I want to thank everybody, and Mom, I know you haven't always been supportive, and like I just thought it was just so odd and not cool that she just, when he said that, she was like, just like nodded her head and like, looked at him, and I wanted to be like, isn't that a mother's like chance to be like, honey, no, I love you. I'm supportive with anything. And it was like she was reaffirming to him that she wasn't supportive. She's not really supportive. I don't know. I mean, then she talked about how she was, but I just was like, what?
I feel like, where are you from?
Connecticut.
Okay, so East Coast. I feel like this is quintessential, like, not to typecast, but middle America with parents. Like, they're very closed off. They're not very open about things outside of traditional values or whatever they want to call it. So I honestly, like, I saw the same things you saw, but yeah, it was upsetting to me. And it kind of just shows, like, even in the beginning of the show, he was like, this is the easiest that it's ever been to be transgender, but it's still difficult. So I think that while, a lot of, I mean, honestly, I don't even want to say a lot of the country, to be honest. Like, if we really broke it down percentage-wise, I would say 25 to 30% of the country is cool with it, and it is okay. And the rest is very uncomfortable.
And that's, and I agree.
And I think that his mom, unfortunately, falls in the uncomfortable side. And as we look at it, because we're comfortable, and we're like, that's your kid. Like, and we would hope that that would make her change, but I feel like people who don't want to know more, understand more, are never going to, and I feel like she falls into that category.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is sad.
It's
so,
really sad, really sad. And I think that your kid, it's not like at the beginning stages either. Like, he's so far into it. He's a man now. He has a boyfriend. Like, he's like, that's it. And I don't know. It just was so much that you really like. He's already there. He's already done. That's it.
Yeah.
And you're still not supportive. But.
Yeah. Well, one thing that was good is, again, as you mentioned, the boyfriend was supportive, and that was really good to see. And they've been together for 7 years, and
through both of their transitions, which is awesome.
So cool.
And must be just, it takes a lot, like, not only physically, as we know, but mentally, and just like the fact that they could be a support system for each other is great. One thing that he did say is that he felt that after the surgery, he could have this sense of jealousy that would kind of go away because his boyfriend has such a perfect chest. That I thought was sweet, I guess kind of understandable. I'm obviously not in his shoes, so I can't fully understand, but it made me sad to think that you can be jealous of the person you're in love with, Like, isn't that strange to you?
I think, again, like, it's just new territory. Like, I don't know, because I'm
do you feel
I'm heterosexual, so I wouldn't know what it would be like to be jealous of a body part like that's masculine or feminine. But like you get jealous of like certain things. So if you're significant, oh, you're making more money than me, that I'm jealous of that, or like I don't know.
Maybe
Yeah,
you
that's a
could
good
compare it to something like, say, my boyfriend or fiance, husband, whatever, has the most beautiful blue eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm so jealous of those eyes or those eyelashes. Like, I would just love to put makeup on them. Like, it'd be so great. Like, I feel like maybe that's a toned down version of it. And you look at his eyes all the time, you're like, oh, I'm so jealous of that.
Or like their skin. Maybe you have really like acne prone skin and their skin's really clear and you're like jealous of that. But
yeah, because it's something that you haven't,
You both have.
and this is something they both have. So I think it's that kind of jealousy. Like, yeah, I see it every day. It's not a bad, mean jealousy.
it's like I want
but
this
it's
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a longing more than a jealousy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought that was interesting that they had that, brought that up and that we could have this conversation. And you guys tell me what you think in the comments on either iTunes or YouTube, because I think it was just an interesting conversation to have. And so he goes in, and it seems that like one of the breasts, or I guess pecs, we could call it, pecs would be easy to operate, and one was a little bit more difficult. So I thought it was interesting how the doctor was saying, you know what, this is one of those surgeries we just go in and we kind of figure it out as we go. That is not a very reassuring sentiment. But he does say, you know what, I'm going to try my best. Would you still go into surgery knowing that your doctor is literally making it up as he goes?
If it was that bad, absolutely.
Okay.
It's like what's her name? Nesreen. If she had no other choices, if he said you have a 35% chance, if she said no there and she'd go home and think, if I have a 35% chance of it getting a little tiny bit better, she would do it. Like, if it's that bad, yeah, definitely.
I feel like I agree with you, and I also think it has to do with your doctor. They know it's a given. Like you can look and see like he has all of the things behind him, both education, experience, all of those things, implying you're in good hands. So him figuring it out is completely different than someone who didn't go to school for that, who is just because a lot of doctors can do basic plastic surgery. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no specifications on that. So I think it also depends like whose hands you're in if you're comfortable.
Right, that's
with
a great point. Is that
Yeah.
These doctors obviously
He's like the best of the best. Like I'm cool with that.
he
you
has
know?
a proven track record,
right.
and most for just people do in the medical industry, but not a lot of them are on TV, and not all of them are actual patients that you can hear their stories from. So
Right.
as you're saying, it's just he felt like he was in good hands, and he even said it before meeting with the doctors that this was like this new chance of hope for him. And the surgery was successful. Improvement. I mean, we still see some kind of scarring, which is never going to completely go away. Yet he seemed really happy, and it made me happy to see him happy.
Yeah, I liked his character.
I loved his character, and I really wish him well. But I do have to say that he seemed to be struggling with some kind of with confidence in general. He referred to himself as being just pale, short, hairy, not that he said that I shouldn't be taking off my shirt most of the time anyways, regardless of this or not. I just really hope that fixes itself, because I don't know if it's something that can be fixed via surgery, right?
I think there's so many things that go into both gender reassignment surgery and just the whole topic in general. I think has so many different particles that make it up. And I think one of the things is like you were insecure your whole life as the gender you were. So I think that there is a lot of
Getting out of that
issues, being not only now being in the gender that you're comfortable in, but then being comfortable in that gender. And I don't care, man, woman, if you're overweight, you're going to be uncomfortable, especially if they live in Southern California. It's just, that's going to be something you have to deal with that regardless of what your gender is.
Yep.
And I think that low self-esteem, I believe that you're required by law to go see a therapist if you are doing gender reassignment.
Yes.
I think if you're transitioning, you are, because there's so much that goes into that. And again, like that's a huge decision. And so when you're making that too, like, okay, well, maybe you weren't really planning on being like feeling like this as a male or I don't know. There's so many things that go into it. So I feel like the fact that he was even able to voice kind of what his insecurities were was like a huge thing for him. I don't know. This was really an intriguing episode for me.
Yeah, it really was. And I think that's pretty much it for our breakdown. Unless there's anything you girls want to bring up or last thoughts with this episode. It is our finale, which I know we're sad about, but we will be back.
No, I think
I think that really wraps it up. Okay, so let's really quickly, we have a really quick news update. And then, let's just do some news.
So I just did
AfterBuzz
sorry. So the news, I wanted to go into a little bit more on what this melanotan product is. That's not what she was using, because I guess there's another type wherever she got it injected at, but it's all pretty similar. So it literally is injection, and you can see here, this is someone who's had the injections on her stomach. That's where they inject them from. So you get a lot of bruising, which is typical with any injection. However, there's a lot of side effects that you can get from the injection. So they say that acne, stomach pains, eye disorders, and heart problems are things that can all transpire from the injections. One, they said, even on the show, that your eyes can darken. She said her hair color changed. So those are all things that you wouldn't think, even just going into it with like a skin darkener. And it's funny that this was on this week. This was her before.
Wow. So for our iTunes listeners, she is rather pale.
Yes. And
Blonde hair, blue eyes, pale skin.
Pale skin, a normal sized breasts, and then the after photo. And even this after photo irks me because she's just like trying to embrace her idea of what like an African woman is. So she throws on some like cheetah top, and it just was like, and a beaded necklace, and it just like really disturbed me. But I actually met somebody this week who at my job who had just received the injection.
No way.
And I was like, oh, dope. Because she came in, I'm like, you look really tan. Like, you look good. She's like, girl, I just started doing these injections. Like, I don't know. It's a trial. And I was like, what? And I was like, that's cool. Like, awesome. Like, didn't think about it twice. Didn't know anything about it. It's not legal here. So I don't know. I really honestly need to find out like her name and give her a call and be like, yo, don't do this. Like, don't do this.
Send her this episode.
It's scary.
What color hair did she have?
She's dark. She's like has brown hair, brown eyes.
Is she
naturally?
Is she naturally like?
She's
really
Caucasian though.
Dark. Okay.
She's a Caucasian girl.
Wow.
And did she have a nice little tan? To
like
her?
a tan.
Like she went to the beach and she's all good.
Like she lived at the beach for about a week and a half.
Oh my!
Like she was.
Is she gonna get darker?
I don't know. And now next time she comes in, I'm definitely going to ask her. But they also say that it can make your moles and everything like he was having darker, which can increase the risk of cancer. And obviously when you share needles, and I feel like nobody really thinks this because everyone's like, oh, like hepatitis, like HIV, whatever. That's just with drugs. Like, think about it. Think about like someone being like, oh my God, I just got this new injection thing. It's awesome. It makes you all tan, like, or young girls or something. Oh my gosh, let me try it. And you're sharing needles and like not even in like a negative connotation of you're doing something like gross, but like you just want to get a tan. You're sharing, like, that's the way stuff happens. That's the way stuff travels, your bodily fluids. Like people don't think about all of that.
I mean, until it's FDA approved, just don't even.
Just
and even
don't.
when it is, there's a lot of stuff that, you shouldn't be doing
I have
regardless.
a great alternative. I just talked to somebody that has this Jergens like lotion. No, I'm not kidding you. She looks so tan and it's so nice.
And it's so cheap.
And it's so cheap. And it's not, there's no sun damage.
Right.
You just, the whole nine, she looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like your spray tans, even the beds aren't the best for you, but they're probably definitely better than
Better
this.
than that, yeah.
Definitely.
I agree. So be careful, people.
Be careful. Ugh.
There's your warning.
One story I wanted to bring up is that Scarlett Johansson was in the news over the last few weeks because she was going to do this movie called Rub and Tug, where she portrayed a trans person. However, everybody on Twitter really got up on her because there's this debate that, is she acting or is she appropriating stories that she shouldn't be appropriating? So a lot of people had different opinions about this. The thing is that, yes, if you haven't heard this story, I really encourage you to check
So is she not doing it now?
So she's dropped out of the movie. She is not doing it because of all the backlash.
That is ridiculous to me.
Honestly, there's a difference between someone in their everyday life doing something, and there's a difference between that's your job. That is your job, is to act. Nobody said anything about Jared Leto. Nobody said anything about Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal in Brokeback Mountain for portraying gay men when they're straight. Like, nobody said... you're acting. That's what you're doing. That's what you're trying to bring the story to life. I do know, though, now with the transgender community being much more prominent, there are a lot of people saying, well, if you want to make a movie like that, get a trans actor.
But if you're gonna be why is everybody being so uptight about it? If it's normal, it's normal. If it's not a big thing, like, what is that movie, Sam I Am or something, with Dakota Fanning when she was little?
Yeah.
And who was that actor? He played like an autistic man or something. Like, Sean Penn. Okay, I was like, who said that?
God.
Yeah, you're just listening to my thoughts. Yeah, I mean, and he did such a great job in that movie. Like, didn't he win awards for that? I don't know. I wish I did the research on that. But, you know, it's the same kind of thing. What?
Well, I have to say, on another AfterBuzz TV show that I really recommend you guys check out, Meet the Hollywood Press, we had a trans woman come on and talk about these issues. And what she enlightened me on is that she was saying, listen, yes, it is acting. However, in the trans community, a lot of opportunities are not given to us. And it feels like, yet time and time again, people are using our stories and exploiting them to make money, but they're not giving us the opportunities to portray them ourselves.
Well, I have something to say about that.
I'm going to agree with you, probably.
I just want to say, I mean, I wouldn't think I'm going to get a role over Scarlett Johansson. And but I could say, I've never gotten a role before and nobody's giving me the opportunity. I'm not Scarlett Johansson. So, like, do you get what I'm saying?
I do. I get what you're saying. And I also think at the end of the day, and this is the same thing, I'm sorry, this is the same thing as with Monique with her pay. You're Monique. Who was it, Dave Chappelle? He's Dave Chappelle. He's selling tickets. Amy Schumer's selling out, like, she's selling out stadiums. You're not. I'm not discrediting you, but follow the dollar, people. Like, it's not, as much as Hollywood wants to be soft and sensitive and inclusive, it's the money. It's at the end of the day, it's a business. And Scarlett Johansson's going to bring more people into the box office than an unknown person, regardless of whatever they identify as or whatever their sexuality is. She's going to probably bring more to the box office, and that is what they care about. And I would think, personally, whether you're missing out on that role or not, you would want the world to know your story. Yep. And if it's being told through somebody who's going to be more inclusive as far as the dynamic coming to the box office, I would think you would want to take one for the whole community and let people really understand, so there is less of a stigma, or so there is less conversations about things being appropriate or inappropriate. And that's what I think.
Yeah, well,
so
thank you
well
for
said.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Thank you for vocalizing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to bring this story up again because it's been in the news, and we did have conversation about what it means to be transgender with this episode. And so, the update is that she is not going to be doing this movie. We don't even know if this movie is actually going to be happening. Maybe it will, because it's had a lot of buzz, but people are so afraid of it because of all the negativity. So we will keep you guys updated on that once we hear more. But in the meantime, you guys can follow me on Instagram at Bonjour Juliet. It's been a pleasure being on this panel, and we will miss you all. I'll miss my lovely ladies. Abigail, tell me, where can they find you?
I'm gonna miss you guys. I don't even know how long the break is for next season. Do we know?
We do not know yet, but we'll let you know once we do.
We'll see you guys next season. I'm Abigail Frere, and you can follow me on all social media, Abigail_AF, and you can check out my weekly podcast, OGAF.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm so glad I got to join you guys today. You can find me on Instagram at McKenzie Fayne.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.